was a dark and stormy night. I was in the car with my dad, driving through the cornfields. We were on our way to visit my grandma, who lived in a small town nearby. I was bored and restless, so I decided to look out the window and see if I could spot any animals or birds. As I scanned the horizon, I noticed something strange. 2 red pinpricks, glowing in the darkness. They were in the middle of the cornfield, about 100 meters away from the road. They looked like eyes, staring right at me. I felt a chill run down my spine. I quickly turned to my dad and asked him, "Dad, do you see that? What is that?" He glanced at the window and then back at the road. He said in the most calm, casual tone for this situation, "Those are Cornfield Demons. Stay in the car and you'll be okay." I was stunned. Cornfield Demons? What the hell were Cornfield Demons? I had never heard of such a thing before. Was he joking? Was he trying to scare me? Or was he telling the truth? I looked back at the window, hoping that the red pinpricks were gone. But they were still there, and they were moving. Slowly, steadily, they were getting closer to the car. They were following us. I felt a surge of panic. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I wanted to run, but I couldn't. I was trapped in the car with a cornfield demon on my tail. I grabbed my dad's arm and begged him, "Dad, please, drive faster. Get us out of here. I don't want to see those things anymore." He didn't seem to hear me. He kept driving at the same speed, as if nothing was wrong. He said, "Don't worry, son. They can't hurt you. They're just curious. They like to watch people. They won't do anything to you as long as you stay in the car." I didn't believe him. I didn't trust him. How could he be so calm? How could he know so much about Cornfield Demons? How could he act like this was normal? I wondered if he was hiding something from me. If he was involved in some way. If he was one of them. I shivered. I felt like I was in a nightmare. I wished I could wake up, but I couldn't. The red pinpricks were getting closer and closer. They were almost next to the car. I could see them clearly now. They were not eyes. They were something else. Something worse. They were mouths. Mouths full of sharp teeth, dripping with blood. They opened wide as if to devour us. They let out a horrible scream that pierced my ears and shattered my soul. I screamed too, and then everything went black. I had just dropped off my girlfriend after watching the Moth Man Prophecies, a movie about a mysterious creature that haunts a small town. It wasn't the scariest movie I had ever seen, but it had some creepy moments that made me jump. I was driving home on the interstate, feeling tired and bored. It was around 3 a.m. and the road was mostly empty. I turned on the radio to keep myself awake, but there was nothing interesting on. Just some boring news and commercials. As I approached a curve, I noticed a dark figure walking on the side of the road. He was wearing a black trench coat that flapped in the wind. He looked like he was hitchhiking, but there was no car in sight. I wondered what he was doing there so late at night. I slowed down a bit, thinking maybe I should offer him a ride. But as I got closer, I changed my mind. There was something off about him. Something sinister. He turned around suddenly, as if he sensed my presence. His face was pale and gaunt, with sunken eyes and a twisted smile. He stared at me with a look of malice and madness. He raised his hand and pointed at me, as if he was cursing me. I felt a surge of fear and panic. I swerved to avoid him, but it was too late. He was already in front of me, blocking my way. I slammed on the brakes, but I couldn't stop in time. I hit him with a loud thud, and he flew over the hood of my car. I screamed and lost control of the wheel. My car spun out of control and crashed into the guardrail. The airbag deployed, and I felt a sharp pain in my chest. I blacked out for a moment and then came to. I looked around, dazed and confused. My car was a wreck, and smoke was coming out of the engine. I smelled gasoline and burnt rubber. I tried to open the door, but it was jammed. I was trapped. I looked out the windshield and saw him. He was lying on the road, motionless. His trench coat was torn and bloody. His face was still twisted in a grin. He looked dead. But then, he opened his eyes. He looked at me with a gleam of triumph. He slowly got up and walked towards me. He was limping, but he didn't seem to care. He was coming for me. I felt a surge of terror and despair. I knew he was not human. He was something else, something evil, something like the Moth Man. He reached my car and smashed the window with his fist. He grabbed me by the collar and pulled me out. He threw me on the ground and pinned me down. He leaned over me and whispered in my ear, "I've been waiting for you." He laughed and then he bit me. As the spectral custodian of Spook Road, the passage of time became an elusive concept. Days melded into nights seamlessly, the boundaries between past, present, and future blurring into an indistinct continuum. Bound by the ethereal remnants of that harrowing night, I found myself inexorably drawn back to the enigmatic stretch of asphalt, compelled by an insatiable need to unravel its mysteries. Each return visit unfurled new layers of the road's haunting tapestry. Whispers of forgotten echoes grew louder, fragments of spectral voices seeking release from the temporal confines. I became attuned to the rhythm of the road, deciphering cryptic signs left by the spirits that wandered its cursed length. The spectral manifestations, once obscure and fleeting, gained coherence. Shadows danced in macabre synchrony, etching out scenes of a forgotten past. Lost souls materialized, their translucent forms recounting a tale of tragedy interwoven with the very fabric of Spook Road. In a relentless quest for understanding, I scoured ancient archives, seeking obscure tales and local legends that might shed light on the road's malevolent legacy. The threads of history converged, weaving a chilling narrative of an old town plagued by inexplicable disappearances and spectral sightings dating back centuries. With each revelation, the road's chilling allure tightened its grip. It wasn't merely a passage for the living, but a conduit for the ethereal, a place where the veil between worlds thinned, inviting both curiosity and trepidation. As seasons passed and years turned, the spectral custodian's existence became intertwined with the very essence of Spook Road. A silent guardian, I stood sentinel, bearing witness to the inexorable interplay between the living and the spectral, forever tethered to the unresolved secrets haunting that spectral domain. Yet, amidst the haunting echoes and spectral apparitions, a glimmer of understanding emerged. The road, a nexus of lost souls and temporal anomalies, beckoned not only as a repository of unsolved mysteries, but as a conduit for closure, a path that awaited illumination to guide both the living and the departed towards peace. And so, the spectral custodian's quest continued, seeking not just answers but a resolution that might lay the restless spirits to rest and finally unveil the truth shrouded within the enigmatic depths of Spook Road. The spectral custodian's quest to unravel the mysteries of Spook Road took on an intensified fervor. Armed with newfound insights gleaned from ancient texts and spectral encounters, I endeavored to forge a connection between the spectral realm and the living world. With the aid of local historians and parapsychologists, I delved deeper into the forgotten annals of the town's history, unearthing long-buried accounts of unexplained phenomena and inexplicable occurrences centered around Spook Road. These revelations formed a tenuous bridge between the spectral manifestations and the living, hinting at a tangled web of unresolved grievances spanning generations. Yet, the key to unlocking the road's secrets eluded grasp, veiled within cryptic symbols and spectral apparitions that danced just beyond comprehension. The echoes of the past clamored for recognition, yearning to impart their sorrowful tales to receptive ears. Driven by an unwavering determination to bring closure to both the living and the spectral denizens trapped within Spook Road's spectral embrace, I sought to channel the disparate energies that intersected along its cursed path. Through rituals steeped in ancient lore and guided by the ethereal whispers, I endeavored to harmonize the discordant energies, seeking a convergence that might offer solace to the restless spirits. Each ritual became a delicate ballet between the tangible and the ethereal, a delicate weaving of incantations and gestures meant to bridge the chasm between worlds. Shadows wove intricate patterns, and spectral forms pulsed with a spectral luminescence as if responding to the faint call for resolution. And then, on a moonless night when the boundary between realms seemed at its thinnest, a profound shift occurred. A spectral tempest erupted, a maelstrom of shimmering energies that coalesced into a radiant vortex. Within its swirling embrace, the Spectral Custodian stood, bearing witness as the disparate energies merged and harmonized, unraveling the tapestry of temporal distortions that enshrouded Spook Road. As the vortex dissipated, a serene stillness descended upon the once tormented stretch of asphalt. The spectral whispers dwindled into echoes, and the ethereal shadows receded, leaving behind an eerie tranquility. In the aftermath, a sense of closure pervaded the air, a palpable peace that settled upon Spook Road. The Spectral Custodian, forever bound to the road's history, felt a weight lift from their spectral shoulders, a burden shared by the departed souls finally finding release from the haunting limbo. The road, once a realm of enigmatic terror, now stood as a testament to the power of understanding and reconciliation. And as the Spectral Custodian gazed upon the tranquil expanse of Spook Road, a sense of fulfillment washed over, a guardian no longer tethered to the spectral domain, but a catalyst for closure and harmony between the living and the departed souls lingering in the labyrinth of time's embrace.